So today is the appearance day. Goswami Prabhu Gadadhara Vibhur Bhuyat Mare Kagati. Gadadhar Pandit Goswami, Srila Guru Maharaj, and his famous poem, Goswami Prabhu Gadadhara Vibhu. Gadadhar Prabhu is at best of the Goswamis. Because we hear of, or can only properly understand Gadadhar Pandit in relation to the avatar of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srup Damodar is written in the beginning. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Hladini Shakti Razmad Ekatman Vapi Bhuvi Puram Deham Vedam Kadoto Chaitanyakyam Bhavatam Tadanubhavatam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhava Duty Subolitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. We sometimes take these things for granted because our initial contact with Krishna consciousness is through the devotees of Mahaprabhu. So, how extraordinary is the appearance of Mahaprabhu and the substance of Sri Chaitanya avatar, we have to carefully consider in terms of what is given by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and particularly the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamritam. We're told Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, appears once in a day of Brahma. What is the day of Brahma? We hear in Bhagavad Gita, Sahasra Yuga Parjantam Ahor Yad Brahmano Vidu. 1,000 yugas together. What does that mean? Yuga cycle, 4,300,000 years. 1,000 of those means 4,300,000,000 years. One day of Brahma. 12 hours. Add together, make 2. So, anyway, once in a day of Brahma, does Swayam Bhagavan Krishna appear. And that's given in Chaitanya Charitamritam. What is it? In the 27th millennium of, is it Swayambhuva, Vaivasvata? I forget the Manu, but it's mentioned, implying Krishna has appeared so many times. Here in the Bhagavatam, his avatars, incarnations are as innumerable as the waves of the ocean. But among all of them, you had to put your hand in front of something, because I can hear. It's a little distracting. What's it saying? Of all these incarnations, they're all taken to be incarnations of Krishna. Right? It's mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, perhaps 24 principal incarnations. And Sanatana Goswami in Brihad Bhagavatamritam Tika saying that when Sutta Goswami is telling the 60,000 sages what he heard Sukadev Goswami tell Maharaj Parikshit and the sages, that he thought one might get the impression that Krishna is one among many avatars mentioned there. Right? Like if you look in an encyclopedia, or what used to be an encyclopedia, now I guess it would be a Wikipedia. And they'll say, Krishna is the eighth avatar of Vishnu, or something like that. So realizing that someone might think Krishna is just one of them, one of the group, said, the sloka is there, Ete cha angsa kala pungsa Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam. But of all of them, Swayam Bhagavan, that means the original, Avatar Sar, the original of all of them, is Krishna. Right? That Krishna, we're told, when is he fully himself? When he's at the right hand of Srimati Radharani. Right? That's when he's Swayam Bhagavan. At the side of another gopi, Swayam Prakash or some other. But Swayam Bhagavan Krishna is at the side of Radharani, alone. Even in this world, people, they sometimes say that in certain company they cannot fully be themselves. And that could be for varieties of reasons. Right? People hold many positions. Someone could be who is a mother, is a daughter, a sister, a wife. And the inverse is parallel for men. And within that, all these varieties of possible relationships, they're expected to respond and act in particular ways. And sometimes we'll hear them say they're searching for someone or the company of someone in whose company they can fully be themselves, where they can be just the way they are, without any pretense, without any other identity being imposed upon them. So, Krishna is revealing this in the beginning pages of the Chaitanya Charitamritam. Many of the things recorded that are being spoken in first person by Krishna. So we might ask, how is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writing all these things? Then Krishna says this, then Krishna says this, Krishna reveals this, Krishna reveals that. That's the job of Jiva Goswami. Jiva Dhyaya Virakshitam Shukra Shiva Rakshak. A protector, what's being given by Rupa, Sanatan, Krishnadas, etc. If someone comes to challenge its legitimacy, its authenticity, then that is the seva of Jiva Goswami to show, and this Puranic reference supports that, this one, that. He's giving all the Shastric basis, background, foundation for these things. But there we will find Krishnadas Kaviraj saying, revealing that Krishna is lamenting, saying that if someone's natural, the love in their heart for me, their natural flow of love is somewhat restrained, restricted by a sense of Aishwarya or majesty, or the divine aspect, he says, I'm disappointed. Right? So he's saying, whereas when my friends, sometimes we're those in Sakyarasa, my friends, we're playing, they're saying, you're not such a big man, I can beat you. If we have some kind of a athletic competition, I can defeat you. We see in Krishna Lila when the cowherd boys, sometimes they have these competitions and the losers have to carry the victors on their shoulders. Sometimes Krishna's group loses. So Krishna has to carry a cowherd boy on his shoulders. And Krishna is saying, I like that very much. I like carrying my devotee on my shoulders. Right? We might think, oh, where Garuda, he likes carrying Krishna on his shoulders and flying. That's his position. But Krishna is saying, I like when the devotee is on my shoulders. That makes me happy. And then he says even further, using the word Bartsan, which means curse. He said, if my beloved, and he's referring to Srimati Radharani, he said, if my beloved is cursing me, that steals my mind away from the reverential hymns of the Vedas. So, what are the Vedas saying? Shruti bir vrimrigram. They're pointing in the direction, saying, he's the supreme reality, he's the original source of everything, everything is emanated from him, he has innumerable incarnations, he's the supreme Godhead. So much praise they're giving to Krishna. He's Bhuta Bhavana. Right? But Radharani, Krishna is saying, that's one thing, those prayers of the personified Vedas, but if Radharani is cursing me, I can't concentrate on what those Vedas are saying. Her curse steals my mind away, manohara. Right? Stealing the mind away, Hare Krishna, means Radharani is stealing away the mind of Krishna. Right? With her sweet chastisement. That these sort of things are being mentioned in the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamritam are very significant. Because the intention is to give us a clear, substantial understanding of who really is Gauranga Mahaprabhu and why he is descended. Right? Sri Gauranamatam Swarupa Viditam Rupa Grajain Adritam Rupadye Pariveshitam Ragugunai Ashraditam Sevitam. And in the 4th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamritam, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami quotes Rupa Goswami from the Chaitanyastakam, saying, Aparam kasyapi pranayi janavrindasya kutuki rasotstamam hritva maduram upabhoktam kamapiya rucham swam avavre iha dutim iha tadyam Sri Chaitanya devaskriti atitaram na kripayatu. We hear in Gita Govinda, as quoted in Ramananda Samvad, as Guru Maharaj points out, only to Ramananda did Mahaprabhu reveal his internal aspect, who he really is. Rasaraj Mahabhav Duyakarup. So, to establish the supremacy of Srimati Radharani, quickly and briefly, Ramananda quotes the Gita Govinda of Jayadev, saying, when the rasa dance was in full swing, and Radharani noticed that she was being given equal treatment to the other gopis, she displayed superior singing and dancing and left in a huff. She withdrew from there and went away. Right? So, therefore, Guru Maharaj's deity of Radharani's name is Gandharva. Gandharva and Gandharvika means she's singing and dancing to charm Krishna. That's part of the meaning of that name. So she's singing and dancing to capture Krishna. So leaving, perceiving the equal treatment, displaying superior singing and dancing, she leaves. Then what does Jayadev point out? Radha Madaya Hridaye Tatyaja Braja Sundari. That Krishna, in the presence of what is described variously as billions or trillions of gopis. And according to the Bhagavatam, their beauty far exceeds the beauty of the supermodels of this world or the apsaras of heaven. They're more beautiful than that. So in the presence of billions of such inconceivably women, who are all chinmoy also, Tatyaja Braja Sundari, he leaves all of them, Radha Madaya Hridaya, and he goes searching for Srimati Radharani. This is the means to establish her position. We will think there should be some vast book that's many hundreds and hundreds of pages. In one sloka, he's establishing what her position is. Saying, if Krishna gave up the company of billions and trillions of gopis to go search for one, how inconceivably qualified she must be. To the degree that one can cancel all the others, and the others are not insubstantial. In that way, he's pointing to her extraordinary position. So, as Rupa Goswami says, aparam kasyapi pranayi janavindasya kutuki, of all the lovers assembled there, one surpassed the other to the degree that it aroused the curiosity in Krishna to want to embrace her position. Rasotsamam ritva madhuram upabhoktam kamapiya. And Guru Maharaj uses the word, he steals the heart and halo of Radharani. Steals. With some implication, maybe she's not going to give it easily. How can someone part with their heart? Right? So he steals the heart, and Radha bhava, duty. Bhav here means heart. So stealing the heart and halo. Guru Maharaj has also given this in his Prapanna Jivanamritam in the introductory slokas. Guru Rupa Harim Gauram Radha Ruchi Ruchavratam. When he takes the Guru position, Swabhaktevyam Sudham Nijabhajana Mudramupadishan, to teach everyone what is devotion, and devotion proper, Krishna consciousness, and the most substantial type of Krishna consciousness, Radha Ruchi Ruchavratam. He's covered by the heart of Radharani. And Krishna is converted. When Gadadhar Pandit was younger in Navadvip, because Gadadhar Pandit, Guru Maharaj is saying, after Krishna's looted the heart of Radharani, the remainder, the shadow of her former self is Gadadhar Pandit. So he said that Gadadhar Pandit, like a man whose wealth has been stolen, is running after the thief of his heart, her heart. In the early pastimes in Navadvip, Nimai Pandit was taking a position of somewhat arrogant scholar who could take one side of an argument, prove that, then prove the other side, go back and forth, bewildering the opponents. So sometimes, and Nimai Pandit wanted to seek out Gadadhar Pandit, because when they're Radha and Krishna, Krishna's teasing Radharani for some divine enjoyment and to bring out Bhama Bhav, opposition. That gives Krishna joy. But here, devoid of her heart, there will be no Bhama Bhav, no opposition. So Nimai Pandit would seek out Gadadhar Pandit trying to walk on the other side of the... Oh, Gadadhar! And then teasing Gadadhar mercilessly or mercifully, depending on how you want to interpret it. And Gadadhar would always be charmed. and would think, that Niyamai Pandit, because they're playing hide and seek in their pastimes. And Gadadhar Pandit, that Niyamai Pandit is so beautiful, so charming, so extraordinary. If he was only a devotee of Krishna, that's his only deficiency. If he would become a devotee of Krishna, it would be perfect. Because he's not showing, there's a gradual development of Bhakta Bhav, Devi Bhav, culminating in Radha Bhav. But as Niyamai Pandit, after returning from Gaya, is becoming more and more immersed in this sort of devotional mood and heart culture, we're told once at the house of Gadadhar Pandit, Gadadhar Pandit could not perform the puja of the deity. So Niyamai Pandit was enlisted. And Niyamai Pandit would bathe and put on fresh cloth, tilak, and then try and approach the deity. And it would be as if the Ganga was streaming out of the eyes of Niyamai Pandit, tears of ecstasy, incapacitating Niyamai Pandit for the seva, puja. So he would have, now all the clothes are soaked and wet with tears, all the tilak has run. So he would go bathe again, put on fresh cloth, tilak, everything, come before the deity and fall, faints. Again and again exhibiting ecstatic conditions. And what did Niyamai Pandit say? The Gadadhar, forgive me, but I have no devotion. I'm unable to worship the deity. I'm such an unfortunate soul. How will I ever find Krishna in this condition? And Gadadhar Pandit said, do you want to find Krishna? Yes, I want to find Krishna. And Gadadhar Pandit said, Krishna is in your heart. Krishna is in my heart. Krishna is in your heart. Mahaprabhu ripped his clothes, was going to tear his chest open. And Gadadhar Pandit, oh no, not like that. Such intensity. So, we're told, Guru Maharaj said, stole the heart and hale, and Rupa Goswami confirms that. Ritva madaram upabhoktam kamapiya. And this brings up a peculiar ontological dilemma, because we'll also see in some places in Chaitanya Charitamritam that there's a comparison of Gadadhar Pandit and Rukmini. We know from elsewhere that in Vrindavan, heart is above intellect. So Radharani is in the supreme position and Chandravali secondary. Radharani heart, Chandravali intellect. But when they expand out of Vrindavan into Dwaraka, their positions reverse. So the number one queen, Rukmini, intellect here, and heart, and Satyabhama, the queen Satyabhama, who sometimes perceived as being somewhat difficult or jealous in different ways. But Rukmini, we know when Krishna threatened to, he was teasing her and said, I'm not really a fit husband for you. You're so qualified and I'm so unqualified in different ways. So many bad things have been said about me. Really, you could do better. So when Rukmini thought that Krishna was seriously suggesting that she get another husband, this thought was inconceivable to her. He wanted to tease her and make her angry. She didn't become angry, she fainted. It says the way like a tree in a hurricane hits her. She fell to the ground, fainted, and they had to revive her. So she is not capable of opposing Krishna. So when Gadadhar Pandit is compared to Rukmini, Srila Guru Maharaj comes with the answer by saying, yes, devoid of the heart, the bhava bhav, that loving opposition, then this type of passive nature, passive agreeable nature is there. And we know elsewhere when Balavabhata, having been humiliated by Mahaprabhu, where Balavabhata said, I have commentaries that have surpassed Sridhar Swami, the principal commentator in the Bhagavatam. Mahaprabhu said, the one who does not accept a Swami is a prostitute, because Swami means husband, is a play on words. And we're told repeatedly Balavabhata was not getting recognition or prestige in the group of Mahaprabhu, so it said, what did he feel like? He said, like a crow in an assembly of swans. Because they're all Paramahansa Vaishnavas, so like swans, and he felt like a crow in the midst of so many swans. So who to find to give his explanations of Krishna Nam and his Bhagavatam that surpasses Sridhar Swami? He zeroed in on Gadadhar Pandit. He said, will you please hear my interpretations? And Gadadhar Pandit thought, oh no, Mahaprabhu will be angry with me. So some teasing of Gadadhar was there. The way he adjusted that was saying, but Mahaprabhu's in my heart, he knows I don't want to hear this. And later initiated that person. Told also Achyutananda, the son of Advaita Acharya, was initiated by Gadadhar Pandit. So that, and Gadadhar Pandit, we hear before initiation, Gadadhar Pandit's friend was Mukunda. And Gadadhar told Mukunda, if some Vaishnava, substantial Vaishnava comes to Navadvip, please inform me, because I have yet to take initiation. So, as was the custom in those days, sometimes those from what's now Bangladesh, Chatragram, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, there's no Ganga flowing there. So they would come and have a place in Navadvip, come and stay in Navadvip for some time and worship Mother Ganga. We hear Pundarik Vidyanidhi would do this at night. He couldn't tolerate people using the Ganga for bodily necessities. He would, in the evening, go on the bank and very respectfully take a few drops of water upon his head. Right? Chidananda Bano, that divine current of Brahmadatri, of liquid love. Anyway, that Pundarik Vidyanidhi was coming, and Mukunda knew that, so he told Gadadhar Pandit, come and meet the Vaishnava. And we're told when Pundarik Vidyanidhi came, he's being carried on a palanquin by so many attendants, and the palanquin, he's on top of it with silk pillows, dressed in very nice silk garments, his hair oiled nicely. There are mirrors on the side to monitor his beauty. And he was smoking a big hookah, right? That, the big water pipe. So he's smoking a hookah and riding on this palanquin. And Mukunda Dutt said, there's your Vaishnava. And Gadadhar, that's the Vaishnava. Yes, there's the Vaishnava. And Gadadhar Pandit was like, oh. Because as Leela would have it, he was carrying some stereotype within the mind and had some apprehension. Vaishnavera kriya mudra vigyeha nabujoy, not to judge the Vaishnava from an external point of view. So Mukunda, seeing the apprehension of Gadadhar Pandit, thought, oh, I need to get Pundarik to come out and reveal his inner character and nature. So he started singing. Remember, Mukunda is one of the best singers. Started singing the Bhagavatam sloka. Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam jigam saya payaya dapyasadvi lebhe gatim datri uchitam tatonyam kamva dayalum sharanam brajema. From the third canto, he's saying, who is a more merciful, worshipable Lord than Krishna? Kamva dayalum sharanam, and who one would want to take shelter of. He said, Putana, the Rakshasi, the witch Putana, who came, took on the form of a Brajagopi and poisoned her breast and approached Krishna with murderous intentions. Krishna sucked the milk out of the breast, the poison out of the breast, her life hair, and liberated her. So I think, if that's how he treats his enemies, we can't even conceive being a friend. Kamva dayalam sharanam brajema. So he's singing this song, and Pundarik Vidyanidhi, hearing that song, his inner condition began to resonate, so that his body started trembling, and he's saying, Kamba dayalum sharanam brajema. His hairs were standing on end. His ecstatic tears shivering. And he started throwing all the pillows, the hookah, and pulling his hair and saying, who is more merciful than Krishna? And he fell out of the palanquin onto the ground, crying in ecstatic joy, then became unconscious for 9 hours, appearing as if dead. What he was experiencing was so intense. Then Gadadhar Pandit realized, I've committed Vaishnava aparad, to Vaishnava of the highest order. I've offended. What can I do? How can I be saved? And we're told, if one will take shelter of the Guru, the lotus feet of the Vaishnava, and approach for initiation as disciple, then all the offenses will be forgiven. So Gadadhar Pandit approached Pundarik Vidyanidhi and became his disciple. And we're told later, he forgot his mantram. Like sometimes the devotees say, I lost my mala. So Gadadhar Pandit mysteriously, mystically said, I forgot the mantra. And so he said, Mahaprabhu, so can you tell me? And Mahaprabhu said, no, Pundarik is your guru. You'll hear from your Gurudev. And this sort of recognition that Mahaprabhu is giving is also noteworthy, because sometimes the devotees, before being introduced to Pundarik Vidyanidhi, they would hear Mahaprabhu calling, Bap, Pundarik, Bap, Pundarik, and they thought, that means father. Why is he saying father, Pundarik, father? Because Radha Bhava duty, he's in the mood of Radharani. Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Vrindavan is Vrishabhanu Maharaj. So he's calling father. So when Gadadhar Pandit took initiation from Pundarik Vidyanidhi, being Radharani's remainder, Mahaprabhu was saying, yeah, it's very appropriate that Pundarik Vidyanidhi is your guru. Hare Krishna. So Gadadhar's position is so special when asking Mahaprabhu permission to go to Vrindavan. Like, devotees take note. Even Gadadhar Pandit is asking Mahaprabhu for permission to go to Vrindavan. Otherwise it'll be I experience or something else. Not only that, but being denied. Is not given permission to go to Vrindavan. That seems inconceivable. Srila Guru Maharaj said, how can the queen of Vrindavan enter Vrindavan minus her heart? So really it was a type of mysterious mercy for Mahaprabhu to forbid Gadadhar Pandit to go to Vrindavan. That will be intolerable, the anguish of the Queen of Vrindavan to enter Vrindavan minus her heart. But Mahaprabhu told, you'll stay in Puri. We hear the Ketra Sannyas, Gadadhar Pandit stayed there, Tota Gopinath, and would cook things, and Mahaprabhu would take that prasad, and Gadadhar Pandit would give a Bhagavatam class for the devotees. After the disappearance of Mahaprabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, sometimes Gurudev saying Ramananda taking the rudder, but different devotees, of course, holding the high positions. So Srinivasacharya had been given some indication by Mahaprabhu, you'll learn Bhagavatam from Gadadhar Pandit. And what does that mean? Do we think he never read the Bhagavatam before? Or he has no understanding of Bhagavatam? Or is it for some special instruction? As Swarup Damodar appeared to Bhaktivinoda Thakur in a dream, vision, and told him to compile Bhagavat Arka Marichi Mala, take 1,000 rays of the 18,000 rayed Bhagavat sun, Puran Arko Dunoditaha, and present them, and Bhagavat Arka Marichi Mala, and gave special interpretation of the first 3 slokas in terms of Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan, Janmadyasya Dharmak Prochita Kaita Botra, and Nigamat Kalpatur Galik Tam Palam, those slokas. So some special interpretation and instruction. So Srinivasacharya went to Gadadhar Pandit, Mahaprabhu's order, in Puri to learn the Bhagavatam. But Gadadhar Pandit said, my Bhagavatam volume, I want to follow Prabhu's order, Mahaprabhu's order, but as you can, my Bhagavatam, the slokas I want to explain to you, the letters have been washed away by my tears. We're told you should offer flowers to the book before reading, to propitiate the book, to make one instrumental for divine revelation. Here, Gadadhar Pandit's offering his tears, the words have been washed away. So he was sent to Sri Khanda, to Narahar Sakar, to get another copy. To his great disappointment and misfortune, upon returning, Gadadhar Pandit had left the world. But Srila Guru Maharaj says that he once got the inspiration, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave 1,000 slokas, collected 1,000 rays of the 18,000 ray Bhagavat sun. Guru Maharaj got the inspiration to collect 300. And that it didn't happen yet. But he did write introductory slokas to invoke auspiciousness. One for Vyasadeva, one for Gadadhar Pandit. Some of them are still extant, and the one for Gadadhar Pandit is extraordinary because it gives us a hint of the criteria for collection. It says, Nilam bodhi tate sada sabiraha kepanvitam bandhavan Srimad Bhagavati Katha Madiraya Sanjeevayan Bhatija Srimad Bhagavatam Sada Svanayana Srupayanai Pujayan Goswami Prabharo Gadadhara Bibur Bhuyat Madeka Gati Nilam Bodhi Tate Nila Ambodhi Tata on the banks of the blue ocean. Where? In Puri. One of the names of Jagannath Puri is Nilachala. Nilachala. So, on the banks of that blue ocean, Nilam Bodhi Tate Sada Svaviraha Kepanvitam Bandhavam Svaviraha. There is Mahaprabhu lying on the ocean shore, feeling what? Viraha, separation from himself. Right? Radha pranaya mahima kidushovana wants to know, what is it that Radharani experiences? She alone, Mahabhav, Swarupini Radha Thakurani. So he's feeling this separate, what is it? Radhikadi Rudha Bhava Kanti Kunjaram Banhi Garbha. In the Premadama Deva Stotram, it's called, Gurudev translated as the firebed of separation. It's very intense what is being experienced. As Guru Maharaj told, golden volcano, golden lava. The lava eruptions, streaming from the heart. What is expressed in Shikshastakam and elsewhere is like a volcanic heart eruption of Mahaprabhu, streaming golden lava, golden volcano. He said, except this lava is not injurious. Bahiye Vishajalahoy, Bitare Anandamoy Krishna Premara, Adbhuta Charit. This is the unique, wonderful characteristic of Krishna Prem. Like hot lava erupting from a volcano, but it's a sweet nectarine current producing deep ecstatic joy in the deep core of the heart. No. Svaviraha kepan vitam. So he's feeling separation from himself in the company of his friend, Bandhu. Srimad Bhagavati Katha Madiraya and Sanjeevayan Bhatya. Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani herself. She knows, he knows that condition. Right? What is terra incognito for Mahaprabhu, Radharani knows well. Lalita Saki knows well. Gadadhar Pandit knows well. Gadadhar Pandit knows in that deep anguish of separation from Krishna, these slokas from the Bhagavatam will give you some relief. It says, Srimad Bhagavati Katha, this Bhagavat Katha, Madiraya, supplying slokas like intoxicants, like wine, to someone's feeling very broken-hearted. Their friend comes, here, drink this. And they're drinking that, and they're getting some relief. So Gadadhar Pandit is supplying the slokas like an intoxicating beverage. Mahaprabhu is drinking that. And Sanjeevayan Bhatya, and coming back to life. The 10th stage of separation is death. He's approaching the 10th stage of separation. Gadadhar Pandit's reviving him with this intoxicating nectarine substance of those slokas. But this is a spiritually, emotional, exchange. So Gadadhar Pandit, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sada Svanayana Srupayanai Pujayan. As Gadadhar Pandit is singing the slokas, tears are streaming down the face of Gadadhar Pandit like lotus flower tears falling onto the pages of the Bhagavatam, washing away the words of the Bhagavatam. This gives us some hint of the criteria for selection. So Guru Maharaj concludes by saying, Goswami Prabharo Gadadhara Vibhur. Gadadhar Goswami is the best. And this book, this compilation of slokas that I am attempting, its whole Madeka Gati, Bhuyod Madeka Gati, its whole purpose is to be presented as an offering for the pleasure of Gadadhar Pandit. So this also gives us a hint of the capacity of Srila Guru Maharaj to express such things. Hare Krishna. Is there any question? No? No.
Shyam is asking this famous story about Srila Sridhar Maharaj and about this publication in the newspaper and about that Gadadhar appeared on a rising moon. It was said that he appeared on the time of a rising moon and Srila Sridhar Maharaj.
Amavasya.
Yes.
You,
So can you please?
oh, I don't think, I can't properly represent that, but it was just given as an indication of Srila Guru Maharaj's extraordinary qualifications. That some big pundits within Gaudiya Math, they got it wrong. And Guru Maharaj expressed the calculation properly. So Ban Maharaj told the others, it was the beginning, or the ongoing developing revelation of Guru Maharaj's extraordinary qualifications, leading Srila Bhakti Hridoy Ban Maharaj to recommend to Saraswati Thakur to give sannyas to Srila Guru Maharaj. And he said that on the banks of the Godavari, where they established the Gaudiya Math in honor of Ramananda, that Guru Maharaj, his specialty is Ramananda Sambad. And Ban Maharaj said that Guru Maharaj gave a lecture there that in his opinion was the greatest lecture he'd ever heard of all time. And he'd heard so many speak. So, Hare Krishna.